So you're starting to get the hang of it by now. And today is day 4. Today's mantra, forgiveness. And forgiveness is like gratitude. It is not something you can force. But the interesting thing is, again, this is the gift you give yourself. There's a saying that Carrie Fisher liked to say. It was based on an idea of a Buddhist idea, which is that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So, we talked about that. Like someone cuts you off in traffic, they cut you off and they zoom off in their way, and they're so absorbed in themselves, they didn't even see you, right? And you're the one that carries around the drama of that. So forgiveness is a bit like that, is that and believe me, there are people who do things to other people that are horrifying, right? We see murders, we see rape, we see war, we see a lot of things that are maybe in our view unforgivable, right? And I'm not saying that we justify that and say, "Oh, I have compassion for that person that harmed me." What I'm saying is that if we find a way that we release the burden, and a lot of it has to do with where we focus our attention, right? Like how many of us have been around somebody and the first thing that we learn about them is their trauma? Versus how many of us, when we meet somebody who's really exciting, they tell us perhaps of what they're creating, what they're doing. So if we want to be kind of in charge of our life and to start making it look like something that we really want to be participating in, instead of always feeling like others are harming us or putting us down or you know, stepping all over our dreams, then we have to take ownership of what we think about. And if what we think about is how other people have wronged us all the time, then where is room for that gratitude that we talked about yesterday? Where is room for showing love to others? Is that what you want to do if you're trying to breathe deeply and meditate? You want to cogitate and stew about the bad things that happen in life, and there's plenty to stew about all the time, right? Doesn't matter. Like we can just be mad all the time if we look at all the injustices in the world, because there's plenty of them. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying, and a lot of, we'll talk about how even anger can be a very valuable fuel. I'm not saying, don't have emotions or don't feel anger, don't feel injustice, because some of the best solutions have come from people that were absolutely apoplectic about their anger towards an injustice. So, the woman that ended up banning landmines, she was just, out of her mind that kids would be playing and get blown up where the landmines had formerly been. That made her angry. When the women that created the peace movement in Ireland, same thing, they were getting angry that all of the killing was involving innocent victims, including children. So, as Muhammad Yunus, who created Grameen Bank, would say, when you see a problem, create the solution. That's a different mindset than judgment and hanging on to resentment and needing to forgive. So, wrapped up in this gift of forgiveness, which is the gift we give ourselves, is really a refocusing not on what happened that we don't like or is happening that we don't like, but what is it that we can do so that that stops happening? And that may be something that we need to do for ourselves. That may be something that we need to do for, a charitable project in the world. There's a lot of great charitable projects. In fact, over Christmas, I listed 10 different organizations that were worthy of your charitable giving. So let's include that in this, that what we're really talking about here when we talk about gratitude and love and breathing and forgiveness is refocusing out of the negative and into solutions. Now, how does this work in our own life? Because a lot of us can feel, very, very put upon in our own life. I remember as a young single mom, I was like, how does anybody expect me to work full time and pay for, someone to take care of my son or pick him up after school, which wipes out half of my wages and pay, all these things. Like, how do they even expect this to happen, right? And I could have just been in there in my injustice and my resentment. Or what did happen is I said, I don't want to be here in this. I understand that the world doesn't add up. I understand that the odds are against me, but I also understand that some way, somehow, I can figure this out and create something different for myself. And that is what led me into the solutions. So again, there's a lot of actions and solutions in the ABCs of Money 6th edition. In The Power of 8 Billion, it's up to us if you want to lead a greener life and help protect our planet. In the Gratitude Game, which basically you take the ABCs of Money as the manual, and the Gratitude Game helps you implement those strategies. This whole series was originally designed to help people implement all of the strategies they learn at the financial freedom retreats and in the books. So all day today, forgiveness, but allow yourself to be angry at something, but refocus it out of the judgment of what that person or is happening in the world that's terrible into how can you stop that from happening again or to others? What can you do to make a difference in your own life, in the lives of others, whatever the injustice is? Instead of feeling resentment towards it, create the solution. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for joining me again.